Hey guys, Matt with CJ Off-Road here. Today we're in front of a 2005 Jeep Wrangler CJ and we've already removed the rear bumper. We've got something special in store for this Jeep. Now it currently belongs to an employee of ours that is serving overseas for our military, so we decided to pull his Jeep in and start modifying it without him knowing it, so I really hope he likes these upgrades. Now I've already removed the stock bumper and today we're going to show you how to install a brand new Smittybilt SRC rear bumper with the tire carrier. It's a perfect fit for a TJ and it runs back all the way to the YJ, so you can get it pretty much installed on any Jeep you have, all the way from 87 to 2006. Now today I'm going to install it onto our TJ, so let's get started. So now over here on the TJ, you will have to drill out 2 holes unless your Jeep already came with them drilled out. Smittybilt includes this nice template here, which you're simply going to line up like so. You'll see the holes match up down here and then also down here where the factory holes go. And I like to take the included hardware and mock it up into place just by setting those 2 in there. And then also go down here and line this hole up perfectly. You can use your finger to feel inside the edges just to make sure that that is perfectly straight on there. As you can see, that's going to be lined up. These holes are clear and free to go. Grab myself a paint marker and then I'm just going to completely mark where those holes are. Doesn't really matter if you get anything on the template because you're going to be throwing it out. What we're going to do is drill 2 pilot holes in the holes that we lined up. I've got a little bit of marking down there, but that'll be okay. It's not really too big of a deal. Just going to go in the center of each of these holes that I made, drill them out with a pilot hole, then get them out to the full size by using a step it and testing the bolts. Now time for a step bit to get them out to their final size. And that's good right like that. Now let's do the same to the bottom hole. And we're good to go. I'm going to hit that with some touch-up paint, then we should be good. Then we're going to just use a little touch-up paint. Now, if you guys want to order this, I kind of use it on everything. It's the Mopar Hardtop Touch-Up Paint. And it matches a lot of different surfaces, so it's kind of good for touching up the hardtop as well as just putting a nice black coating on some open holes that you don't want to rust out. Now with the help of a friend, or you can do this on your own, but it is a little tricky, we're going to set the bumper into place. We've left the tow hook on the left side, and we're going to slide it on, use the included brackets on the back, and then bolt these 2 outer ones on over here, and then we'll reach in and start to fight with those and get those mounted up and get all the bolts tightened up on the bumper before we do the tire carrier. This has come my way a lot. Needs to come my way. Maybe not. Now what you're going to do is slide one of the metal spacers onto the back of the frame rail and then grab 2 of your bolts and get them started. Okay guys, so I've got all the outer bolts started now. I am going to get the inner bolts tightened as well. There's going to be 2 in here and then 2 over there. We repeated the exact same process when we drilled out those 2 holes, so we're going to go ahead and do this side. I'm not going to tighten up anything completely yet, just get everything started and then we can come back and get it fully tightened down once it's all started. So the next step is going to be to install the inner bolts. You're going to have to fight with these a little bit to find the holes. They're not really too fun to reach in there and get, but you can do it. Just got to be kind of flexible. Now once you get all those in, what we're going to do is go ahead and install the provided bolts, or you can use the factory bolts up underneath. We're going to start on this side. Go ahead and grab your bolt, a lock washer, and a standard washer, and just feel right up underneath. There's going to be a hole. This is exactly why I like to get everything started now. That way if we need to move the bumper a little bit, we can still kind of finagle it, if I use that term lightly. That way we can move it around and get it exactly where it needs to sit. So over on this side, we actually found it was easier to use the factory bolt. I don't know what was up with the bolt from Smittybilt, but it just didn't seem to want to start. Could be that I didn't have it lined up perfectly and that the factory bolt does have a little bit of a narrower section in the beginning to help align the hole. But I'm just going to utilize this one. Now personally, I like to tighten up the lower bolts first. That way it sucks it all the way up. And then we can tighten down the back. Since the back is slotted, go ahead and use an 18mm socket if you're going to use the Smittybilt bolts. And the factories are an 18 as well. Now we're going to tighten up the back 4 bolts using a 16mm wrench and a 16mm socket. One thing you want to do before putting the tire carrier on is definitely grease the post very well. It's going to work out better in the future if you put a nice amount of grease on here right now while you have it all apart. And that should just about do it. First thing that we're going to do is slide this nylon washer over the tire carrier post. Now once you have that nylon washer on, we're going to go ahead and grab our brand new Smittybilt swing out tire carrier. And just slide it onto the post like so. See, it rotates very smoothly with all that grease in there. I'm just kind of spin it, get it all set in. Now I'll put the C-clip right in over the top. Now you've got to make sure you push around the edge, and to make sure it's fully seated, kind of just tap it down there a little bit. So the next step of this installation is to slide your top post mount into place. Now this is going to go with this bracket facing towards you, and simply slide down in. One thing I like to do is actually grab your tire carrier plate and slide it onto this, and it actually fits right underneath there. Now before I get the bolt in, I want to make sure that I can slide this bolt with a washer in through the backside and up through the front. And then what I'm going to do is put the washer in on the other side. Now we're going to get this tightened up using a 24mm socket and a 24mm wrench on the inside there. We're just going to get that nice and tight. Don't overkill, because this bolt does have enough strength to easily crush some steel in between it. All right, now let's move on. So another nice thing about this tire carrier is that you do have some adjustment ability. As you can see, the holes here are slotted, meaning if you need to, you can come all the way out to here if you've got a larger back spacing and the tire sticks out more. However, with us, we've got a simple, easy back spacing, so we're going to push this all the way in and then bolt 2 here, and then 1 up top, so there'll be 5 bolts in total. Go ahead and grab a bolt with a washer and set it through the outside here. Now on these, you're going to use the shorter bolts with a washer and a lock nut, and then on the top one is going to be the longer one, since we've got more distance to travel. I'm going to go ahead and get these started, put the one on the other side, and then drop the one through the top and get that one done as well. I'm going to go ahead and put this one over here. And then we'll take the longer one and go right through the top, down into our washer and lock nut. Now we're going to get these all tightened down. We're going to go ahead and use a 16mm socket and a 17mm wrench. Go around and fully tighten these up. Then we should be good to go up top here. I'll go ahead and get these side ones tightened up. So we've also got to install 2 bolts down here that hold the hinge on and actually clamp it on there. They're going to be a 16mm bolt. So what I like to do is use little vice grips, because as you can see, if you start them in there, they don't really want to go all the way through the other side. So using a vice grips definitely helps that out. Go ahead and put a washer on the back, and then a nut. Then we'll get this top one tightened down, that way it holds the other one in place. Now we'll get this lower one on. Now this you can actually adjust to once you get the full weight of the wheel and tire combo onto the tailgate. That way you know exactly how loose or how tight to make this and how easy it's going to swing open. Now with that on, the next step that I want to do is put the wheel and tire on here so we can go back and adjust it. It's really tight right now, so pretty much takes all I have to pull it open. So with the weight of the wheel and tire, we're going to go back, adjust those 2 bolts we just tightened down. That way it's a nice open and close. So that's on there. Smittybilt even includes the lug nuts, so go ahead and put those on as well. Now I'm going to go ahead and get these tightened up. I like to put them in all the way hand tight if I can. Smittybilt likes to use this weird packaging grease, but it actually makes the lug nuts go on there and ensure that they won't seize up the first time you need to rotate your spare in or pop a tire. So like you just saw, guys, it's a really tight fit, so we're going to go ahead and loosen up these bolts down here that we just tightened up to try and get a little bit easier of an opening and closing. Let's just loosen them up a bit, see what happens right away. I'm kind of happy with that. Well guys, that's a wrap on the install of the Smittybilt SRC rear bumper with the included tire carrier. Now this is a nice option if you've got a 1987 to 2006 Jeep YJ or TJ. As you can see, it's holding up this 32-inch tire with no issues. You can go up to about a 35 without having any issues with the durability of the tire carrier. Now it's a smooth open and close, all built into the bumper, which is going to be really great for when you're out on the trail. Want to access your tailgate, you can just simply pop this open and then open up your tailgate and your hardtop or soft top. The install time is about 2 hours, and all you need is basic hand tools to get everything done, as well as a drill and a drill bit. Now, if you want to find this tire carrier as well as many other great parts for your TJ, YJ, and JK Wrangler, be sure to check us out at cjponyparts.com. Hope you enjoyed that video. To stay up to date on our CJ Off-Road videos, make sure to subscribe up top here, and for any other installs, make sure to click the link right above.